So first of all, I would like to thank SEMS Foundation for having me here. Today we are going to have a discussion on what are your fundamental rights and what are your duties as a citizen. So you all are from very different backgrounds. Some of you are from science background, some of you are from commerce background, some of you are from humanities background. So why you all need to know that what are your fundamental rights and what are your duties? Why you need to know that? So to answer that, to understand that what is the need of fundamental rights, I would like to tell you some history about like what was the requirement, why these fundamental rights are given to the Indian citizens. Although we don't value it because we never faced such kind of discrimination which used to happen in recent societies. So I would like to first tell you that what kind of society India used to be. Then after that, we will come and understand that what are your fundamental rights and duties as of now. So if you will see, there are three pictures on your screen. First is there used to exist a kingdom called Travancore Kingdom. This is a place now in Kerala. So there used to exist a tax called breast tax. This was the tax which was collected by tax collector of the Travancore from the female of lower caste, and this was the tax which was imposed to cover the breast. Even females were not allowed to cover their breast if they don't pay taxes. So this is the kind of society India used to have in recent times. You all of have heard of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. I hope you all are aware of it. Why this happened? This happened because some of the people were protesting against the law made by British Parliament, and they were shot dead on account of that, just because they were protesting against some laws made by their government, which they elected. So now you will see these were the laws, like people were not allowed to protest against the government. Now you will see that there were farm laws which were enacted by the central government, and there were lots of farmers came to Delhi and they started protesting against that, and then later these laws were withdrawn by the government. But now if you will see by today's government, why people got their rights? Because you have certain fundamental rights. That's why you are allowed to go to Jantar Mantar. You are allowed to protest against the government. I hope this is clear till now. Is it? So this is the kind of society we used to have. All of you have heard of sati system. This used to exist. Like if a husband of some woman died before her death, that that female used to bury along with his husband. This used to happen in Indian society, but now this doesn't exist because every citizen has got some fundamental rights. So now I would like to tell you that this kind of discrimination used to happen in Indian society. To overcome all of that, to overcome these taxes, to overcome these rights, to overcome these traditions which used to happen, what Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar given us some certain fundamental rights and certain duties which we need to follow. So what he said in Constituent Assembly, he said that I like the religion that teaches equality, liberty, and fraternity. Now, what is liberty? If you will read the preamble of Constitution of India, you will need to know that what liberty means. It is expressly mentioned in the preamble of Constitution of India that liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship is given to all the citizens who belongs to India. Now you will see that I am using this word citizen again and again. Why I am giving so much pressure on the word citizen? Because citizen are those persons who have the citizenship of the country. There are some persons who come to India, they are tourists, they are not the citizen of India, they are foreigners, they come to India and they visit us. They don't enjoy these rights. Only those persons who have the citizenship of India, they only enjoy these fundamental rights. So first they said that the citizen of India will be having the liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. What kind of thought you are having in your mind, what kind of expression you are going to make, what kind of faith you have. This is your liberty. You can have any kind of faith, you can have any kind of expression, you can have any kind of thought. This is what liberty means as per the Indian Constitution. Then they talk about what is equality. Equality means that everybody is equal before law. Just because you are king or you are a president or you are a governor or you are a upper class privileged or you are from a privileged background, that doesn't absolve you from the laws. Law will treat everyone. You will see that lady of law is blind. That doesn't mean that law is blind. The meaning of that character is that everybody is equal before the law. So this is what equality means. Then after that, fraternity. Fraternity means sense of brotherhood. If you will see that you are going on a road, suddenly you hear the siren of ambulance going. and you suddenly give way, you make way for ambulance to pass. Why you do that? This is not your compulsion, but this is the fraternity. This is the sense of brotherhood. You know that your fellow Indian is traveling and he is suffering from some disease and he need to reach hospital at time. So this is the reason that certain fundamental rights are given to the Indian citizen. I hope this is clear till now. So I will tell you that what what Chief Justice of India said about these fundamental rights and about the Constitution of India. I would like to play this clip. After that, I will start from the fundamental rights. I would like all of you to hear this very clearly. Was it clear to all of you? Even if you believe in Constitution or you don't believe in Constitution, but it is there for you. It is protecting your rights. It is giving you certain duties. You believe it or you don't believe it. Now I will come to explain that what are the fundamental rights where these are given in to you. So these fundamental rights are given in Part 3 of Indian Constitution from Article 12 to Article 35. These are given in Article 12 to Article 35, and there are 5 kinds of, total 6 of its kind, fundamental rights are given. First is right to equality, that everybody is equal before law and all of that. Then after that, right to freedom. We will be discussing it in very detailed manner, but for now, just to have an overview, I am explaining this, the right to equality, then right to freedom, then right against exploitation, then after that, right to religious freedom, then after that, right of minorities, or we call it cultural or educational rights. After that, there is a right called right to constitutional remedies. These are the 6 rights which are given, 6 kind of rights which are given to all the citizens who belong to India. This is all clearly mentioned in this slide. There are 6 kind of fundamental rights which are given to all the citizens who belong to India. First is right to equality. This is given in Article 14 to Article 18 of Indian Constitution. Right to freedom is given 19 to 23. Then after that, if you will see right against exploitation, this is 24 and this is 22, this is 23 to 24. And after that, right to religious freedom is 25 to 28. Then after that, right to cultural and education is what? 29 and 30. And then right to constitutional remedies is given under Article 32. We will discuss it in detail. So first of all, when we are discussing about right to equality, I already told you that lady of law is blind. You all have seen the pictures of a court. That lady of law taking a balance in his hand and he is covering his eyes with a strip. So the meaning of this is that he is not going to discriminate anybody on any ground. He will treat everybody that everybody is equal in front of, in eyes of law. So Article 14 talks about, I would like to describe that what Article 14 is. Article 14 says right to equality, and it majorly talks about 2 things. Number 1, equality before law, and second thing is equal protection of laws. Now there is a minor difference between both of them. Equality before law means that everybody is equal before law. You come from a very rich background or you come from a very poor background, you will be treated as same in laws. But what is the meaning of equal protection of laws? Suppose you are an adult and you commit some crime. You are aware of the consequence of that crime. Suppose I am an adult and what I do is I saw that some person. I have the consequence. I know that what can be the consequence of. But suppose there is a child who is below the age of 7 years. He is not aware of the consequence of the offense he has committed. So he should not be treated as same. This is what this clause 2 says, equal protection of laws. This means that likes should be treated as like. I'm an adult and there is someone who is same as me. Both will be treated as same in the eyes of law. But if you will see that somebody who is below the age of understanding the consequence of offense, he won't be treated as same in law. Is it clear that what Article 14 says? Are you guys able to understand? Okay. Article 14 says equality before law and equal protection of laws. Equality before law means everybody is equal before law. Court will not discriminate anybody on any ground. Then equal protection of laws means that like should be treated as like, unlike should not be treated as like. Suppose there is a child who has not attained the age of majority. He is not aware of the consequence of the offense he is going to commit. So he won't be treated as like. So this is what Article 14 says. Now after that, I said that Article 14 to 18 talks about right to equality. We have discussed what Article 14 says. Now Article 15, it says there should not be any kind of discrimination there should not be any kind of discrimination on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, or place of birth. Now you will see that Article 15, what it says, it is not giving that state cannot discriminate. It says that it is prohibiting discrimination on certain grounds. And what are these grounds? These grounds are race. You cannot discriminate anybody on the basis of their race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth. Although all these rights are qualified rights, these are not absolute rights. What is the difference between absolute right and qualified rights? I would like to first explain this. Absolute rights are those rights, there is no restriction on those rights. And qualified rights are those rights, there are certain restrictions which are imposed on your rights. If you will see that there are certain rights which are available to you and there is no ground, no reasonable ground of restriction imposed on that right. But if you will see, these fundamental rights are qualified rights, like state can curtail these rights. If you will see, Sankaracharya of a temple, he has to be a Hindu. Sahi Imam of a Jama Masjid, he has to be a Muslim. So their religion can be a criteria. Now, place of birth, if you will see, there are vacancies which are being given by a state government. They will discriminate. So what Article 15 says, it says that restriction on certain grounds, discrimination on certain grounds is not allowed. These are race, religion, caste, sex, or place of birth. So we have till now dealt with Article 14, which talks about right to equality, and then Article 15, it talks about that there should not be any kind of discrimination on these grounds. Then I would like to tell you about Article 16. What Article 16 says? Article 16 says equal opportunities in public employment. What does it mean? It means that if there is a vacancy, public employment means employment which is being provided by a government. Either it is central government, either it is a state government. But it does not include a private entity or a private organization. So Article 16 gives power that government, central government or state government will provide equal opportunities to all the citizens, and they cannot discriminate all its citizens on certain grounds. What are these grounds? Race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth, descent, and resident. Now you will see there is a minor difference between Article 15 and Article 16. Article 15 says that there should not be any kind of discrimination on basis of race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth. But when we talk about equal opportunities in public places, there are two more grounds. First one is descent and the second one is resident. So when government is going to provide equal opportunities to all its citizens, they cannot discriminate its citizens on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth, or descent, or resident. On these basis, they cannot do that. So till now, we have discussed Article 14, Article 15, and Article 16. Now we'll be going to study what Article 17 has to say. And I hope this is clear till now. And Article 17 is the most important right because the earlier society used to face so much of discrimination. So Article 16, Article 17 is very important from that perspective. Article 17 talks about abolition of untouchability. Have you all watched the movie Manji, Dasrath Manji? Have you seen that? If you cannot speak, you can at least reply in the chat box. Okay. So in that movie, you have seen that to what extent this untouchability used to exist. Then came Indian Constitution in force. And Article 17 gives the power that abolition of untouchability in all its form. That means untouchability cannot be practiced by anyone. I talked about all the rights. Article 14, Article 15, Article 16. These all were qualified rights. That means there are reasonable ground of restrictions which can be imposed on these articles. Article 14, Article 15, and Article 16. Reasonable ground of restrictions can be imposed on these articles. But Article 17 is what? Abolition of untouchability in all its form. Neither state can practice it, nor individual can practice it. So this is what Article 17 is. Now you will understand what is the importance of this article. Now we are very familiar with it. Now in this society, why this doesn't exist? Because certain laws were made by founding father of Indian Constitution. Article 17 gives power that nobody can practice untouchability. And there are certain laws behind that. So this is what Article 17 says. So now you will see, we have discussed Article 14, 15, 16, and 17. Now only one article left, that is Article 18 of the Indian Constitution. You will see that these all are the rights which are right to equality. But there is a difference between 14, 15, 16, and 17 and 18. these are the rights which were given to certain persons who are having certain disadvantage. Like somebody is not treated equally before law, so Article 14 is given to him. If somebody is being discriminated on ground of race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth, there is Article 15 to protect him. But there were certain communities who were having advantages. That means they were having certain extra advantage. So to remove that, equality will come to remove like untouchability, the practice of untouchability, the practice of discrimination, the practice of equality. But Article 18, what it talks about abolition of titles. Now, what are these titles? You will see, you will have heard of like the son of a king will be king just because he is son of that person. Now, this doesn't happen in Indian society. You will see that there are elections take place every 5 years to elect the head of the state. So it talks about abolition of titles. What are these titles? These titles are dynastic titles. Just because you are born in a family and you get some certain titles. So Article 18 talks about the abolition of these titles, but it does not talk about the abolition of titles which are meritorious in nature. Suppose you you pursued MBBS and now you have a degree of doctorate and your name is Doctor something. So you will see that these titles are educational titles. These are meritorious titles. You get when you study them. Now you are a doctor, your son or daughter cannot become doctor just because they are your child, but they need to pursue the degree, the relevant degree. After that, they will get these titles. So Article 18 talks about abolition of titles which were dynastic in nature. So this was about right to equality. What kind of equality Indian Constitution provides to all citizens. Article 14, it gives equal rights to everyone. Article 15, it talks about that there should not be any kind of discrimination. Article 16 gives you power that government will ensure that there is nobody is discriminated in case of public employment. And Article 17 talks about abolition of untouchability, and Article 18 talks about abolition of titles. Is it boring to all of you, or you are like getting information, or let me know? Is it boring for all of you? Okay. So we have discussed what are the right to equalities. Now, right to freedom. This is very important. What are right to freedom? If you will see that many persons always say that we have right to freedom of speech and expression. Okay. So if you will see, right to freedom are given in Article 19 to 22. Article 19, you all are familiar with it. Either you know about this article or you don't know. You will see when you watch media channels, you will see that everybody is talking about free press. Everybody is talking about freedom of speech and expression. So where it comes from? It comes from Article 19. What it says? It says that everybody in India is free to express either by way of lithography or through online media or through printing or through publishing. By any means, you are free to express your views, your opinion, your ideas, but these all are qualified rights. There are certain reasonable grounds of restriction which are imposed on Article 19. Now we are discussing, we are done with right to equality. Now we are discussing right to freedom, which is given in Indian Constitution from Article 19 to 22. And what Article 19 says? Article 19 says that freedom of speech and expression. Everybody has freedom of speech and expression. But why I am saying that these are qualified rights? Because there are certain reasonable ground of restriction on your freedom of speech and expression. Now, what are these reasonable ground of restriction? So you will see that public order, public peace, morality, these are the certain ground of restriction. You cannot defame anyone. You cannot abuse anyone on saying that you have freedom of speech and expression. You cannot do that. So these are certain reasonable ground of restriction which are imposed on you. You cannot do something which is illegal on the basis of that you have freedom of speech and expression. You cannot contempt, like you cannot say anything against the judges of the court, or you cannot say anything against the judges of the court. Either like you can criticize the judgment of the court, but you cannot criticize the judges of the court. That comes under the contempt. So this power doesn't come under the freedom of speech and expression. You cannot disturb public order, public peace, morality. You will see that some of the journalists are being detained and NSA is being imposed on them. You have heard of the name of Manish Kashyap. He is being detained by the Tamil Nadu police. On what ground they have arrested him? They have arrested him because he has given certain false information which were not true. So court has said that his freedom of speech and expression was misused. If you are giving certain right information to the society, you are encouraging someone for good things like some foundation is doing. So that is a different thing. But if you are doing something which is against the public order, against the public peace, against the morality, against the like it is defamation or it is contempt of court, then your freedom of speech and expression will be curtailed. So this is what Article 19 says. Then the very most important article, if you are not paying attention till now, it doesn't matter. But I would like your 5 minutes to understand what next article is all about. Now we have done till Article 19 and we need to go till 35. So if you are not paying attention till now, it is not a matter of concern, but you need to know three rights which I am going to discuss right now. Article 21, Article 22, and Article 20. First of all, I would like to discuss Article 21. What it says? It says right to life and personal liberty. Article 21. So I was asking that how many of you have heard of this? Article 21. Right to life and personal liberty. Nobody has any idea about it. So what Article 21 says, it gives right to life and personal liberty. What is the meaning of right to life? Life, like everybody has their sense of life. So life is not about only living. It is about choice and dignity. Living life with choice and dignity. And what article it provides you? It is given in Article 21. Okay. So Article 21 talks about right to life and personal liberty. So what it says, if you will read the clause of it, it says that nobody can be deprived of his life and personal liberty without procedure established by law. Now, what is procedure established by law? Procedure established by law. There are certain procedures which are being established by legislature. So you need to follow that. If you are arresting someone, that arrest should be legal. If you are arresting someone without following the due procedure of law, you are violating the Article 21. And that arrest will be what? That arrest will become unlawful arrest. So Article 21 says right to life and personal liberty. The meaning of it is that everybody has right to life and their life cannot be taken on any ground without or except the procedure established by law. Now, I will come to Article 20. What Article 20 has to say? It gives three rights. Like it talks about three things. Number one is no ex post facto law. Second one is, this is legal language I am going to explain, but for the time being, I am just writing what is given in the Indian Constitution. So Article 20 subclause 1 said no ex post facto law. And second, it says no double jeopardy. And third, it says no self-incrimination. So no ex post facto law means that criminal law cannot travel back in time. Suppose I am committing some offense which is not offense which is defined in the IPC. So you cannot say that is offense. Suppose there used to exist, if you will see an example, like suppose murder in today's time is a crime. If you commit such offense, you will be punished to what? To the procedure which is established by law, which is already written. But suppose legislation is not given with that regarding, and later it will be imposed. So it cannot travel back in time. Like if I am committing some offense, if there is law, there is no law relating to that, so that law which is being enacted in by the future government will not be applicable on me. Is it clear? Are you able to understand? नो एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो लॉ का मतलब होता है कि जो क्रिमिनल लॉ है वो टाइम में बैक ट्रेवल नहीं कर सकता, कि अगर आज मैंने कोई ऑफेंस किया और उसको लेकर के लॉ नहीं है तो मुझे उस लॉ के लिए पनिश नहीं किया जाएगा, कि जो फ्यूचर गवर्नमेंट बना देती है। अगर आज मैंने मर्डर किया, मर्डर आईपीसी में एक क्राइम है, तो मुझे उसके लिए पनिशमेंट किया जाएगा। लेकिन अगर वो उसमें मेंशन नहीं होता और मैंने आज ऑफेंस किया और कल को अगर वो लॉ बन जाता है कि वो ऑफेंस है, तो उस जो बाद में लॉ बनता है वो मेरे ऊपर अप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा। दिस इज व्हाट Article 20 subclause 1 says. Then after that, Article 20 subclause 2, it says that double jeopardy. It means that nobody can be twice punished for a single offense. अगर मैंने एक offense commit किया, suppose murder, dacoity और mischief, anything of that, अगर मैंने एक offense किया तो मुझे उसके लिए punishment में भी एक बार मिलेगी, उससे ज्यादा punishment नहीं मिलेगी। फिर उसके बाद आता है no self incrimination. The meaning of that no self incrimination means कि मैं अपने against witness नहीं बन सकता। अगर आप यूएस वगैरह में देखोगे, लोग बोलते हैं मिरांडा वार्निंग दी जाती है। व्हाट मिरांडा वार्निंग इज, दे से दैट यू डोंट नीड टू से एनीथिंग एंड एनीथिंग यू विल से विल बी यूज्ड अगेंस्ट यू इन कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ। व्हाट डज इट मीन? इट मीन्स दैट देयर इज नो सेल्फ इंक्रिमिनेशन, यू कैन नॉट से एनीथिंग अगेंस्ट यू। दिस इज व्हाट आर्टिकल 20 says, that any of this thing, if it is violated, then what will happen? That the police or the state has not followed procedure established by law. And if they haven't followed the procedure established by law, that means they have made an illegal detention. And there are writs. We will see it on the latter part. Article 32 talks about writs. If your fundamental rights are being violated, you can approach directly to the courts that are very in hierarchy. They are at the top level. Number one is Supreme Court. Then after that, you will see high courts. So you can directly approach High Court or Supreme Court. Under Article 32 and Article 226, you can approach Supreme Court for the violation of your fundamental right. So Article 21 says that right to life and personal liberty, and then Article 20 says three things: no ex post facto law, no double jeopardy, and no self-incrimination. Now I will discuss Article 22. It also says three things. First of all, what? The person, the police or the state who is going to make detention, who is going to make the arrest, they are bound to disclose, they are bound to tell that what are the grounds of arrest. They are duty bound to tell the person who is being arrested that on what ground they are arresting that person. The second thing is legal representation, that everybody is allowed to have lawyer of his own choice, advocate of his own choice. You will see that there is debates going on that why certain criminals are being represented. Now see, if the person is not having a legal representation, we cannot punish him following the procedure established by law. You will see that there are some persons who have committed very heinous crime. They are represented by the advocate. You will see the Nibha Kand, which happened in 2011. And there was an advocate who was massively criticized just because he was representing the criminal involved in that offense. But we as a citizen need to understand that even if there is somebody who is criminal, even if there is somebody who is a terrorist, they also have these rights. They also have to they also need legal representation. So what article talks about? It says the person who is being arrested, he should be told that what are the ground of arrest, for what offense he is being arrested, and he need to have legal representation. Then after that, he need to be presented before magistrate within 24 hours. Like if you are being arrested, you will be presented before nearest magistrate within 24 hours. So this is what Article 22 says. Now, if any of these articles violated, Article 22 or Article 20, so what is happening? Your detention is illegal. Illegal means that police has made the arrest without following procedure established by law. अगर आपने क्या किया, अगर आपने जो प्रोसीजर दिया हुआ है कि आपको ग्राउंड ऑफ अरेस्ट बताना है, आपको लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेशन देना है, आपको अरेस्ट के 24 आवर्स में उसको प्रोड्यूस करना है बिफोर द नियरेस्ट मजिस्ट्रेट, आपको क्या करना है? लॉ को क्या है? नो एक्स फैक्टो लॉ. आप किसी पर्सपेक्टिव लॉ का रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट नहीं दिखा सकते. दूसरा आ गया, आप किसी पर्सन को एक ऑफेंस के लिए 2 बार पनिश नहीं कर सकते. कोई भी पर्सन अपने लिए सेल्फ इंक्रिमिनेशन नहीं कर सकता. अगर इनमें से कोई भी चीज वायलेट होती है तो आपका जो डिटेंशन होता है वो हो जाता है इलीगल. और इस पे क्या होता है, उसके बाद आप इशू कर सकते हो रिट हिबियस कॉर्पस की. उसको हम लेटर पार्ट में डिस्कस करेंगे. सो दिस वाज अबाउट राइट टू इक्वालिटी एंड फ्रीडम. राइट अगेंस्ट एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट, इट इज गिवन इन आर्टिकल 23 and 24. What it talks about, Article 23 says that it prohibits trafficking in human being. Now, what is the meaning of trafficking? Trafficking in human being means that in earlier societies, slave used to be sold like person. Trafficking in human being is selling and buying of human beings. So it is being prohibited. Now you will see that we heard that in India slavery doesn't exist, but this term slavery is nowhere given in the Indian Constitution. So where it comes from? It comes from right against exploitation under Article 23. It says that abolition of this right which used to have. Now what it says, Article 23 is it prohibits trafficking in human being, and second thing is it prohibits begar system. What does it mean? Trafficking in human being is all clear to all of you that selling of human being is prohibited. The second thing is begar system. What is begar system? You cannot make somebody work for you for free. If you will see, अगर आप देखते हो, अगर कोर्ट के थ्रू किसी का प्रोसिक्यूशन होता है और उसको अरेस्ट कर लिया जाता है, तो अगर किसी पर्सन को अरेस्ट किया जाता है तो उसको जेल में ऐसे फ्री में तो रखेंगे नहीं, तो उसको काम करना पड़ता है. अब बेगार सिस्टम क्या कहता है? आप किसी को फ्री में काम नहीं करा सकते, आपको उसको कुछ देना पड़ेगा. तो इसीलिए आप देखोगे जेल में जितने भी क्रिमिनल्स होते हैं वो क्या होते हैं, वो काम करते हैं जेल के अंदर और उसके लिए उनको पैसा दिया जाता है. दिस हैपेंस इन कोर्ट just to ensure that nobody is victim of begar system. This is given in Article 22. Now, Article 23 talks about that children cannot be involved in hazardous activities. कि जो बच्चे हैं, जो कम एज के बच्चे हैं, उनको हमें एजुकेशन देनी है, उनको हमें इस एम्प्लॉयमेंट में फंसा के नहीं रखना. So this is what right against exploitation is. Is it clear to all of you till now? Can you raise your hands if it is clear till now? We can move forward. Now we have already discussed what are the right to equalities. Right to equality, Article 14 to 18, we have already discussed it in very detail. Then after that, Article 19 to 22, it talks about freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of any profession, freedom to reside in any part of country. This is Article 19. Then after that, 23 and 24. This is what I was talking about. Right against exploitation. First one is, we have already discussed Article 23. Then Article 24. The child cannot be employed in hazardous activities. कि इनका जो childhood है वो खराब हो किसी भी तरीके से. They cannot involved in hazardous activities. Why I am giving so much pressure on hazardous activities? Because you will see that there are some children who are working in a film industry. You will see that childs are working and people keep on raising questions that why they are allowed to work. If there is right against exploitation, if child are not allowed to work at this age. Article 24 says that children are not allowed to work in hazardous activities. They cannot be employed in hazardous activities. And children are allowed to work, but after the school hours. मतलब उनकी education hamper नहीं होनी चाहिए in any circumstances. This is what Constitution of India wants to ensure. So this is about Article 23 and 24. Then if you will see Article 25 to 28, what it says, it gives religious rights. I'm not going in so much detail. Article 25 says that everybody has right to practice, profess and propagate their religion. Now, what is the meaning of practice? That suppose I'm a Hindu. So I have the right to practice. Practice means I can worship my God. Then profess. I can do, a mass can come with me and we can profess it to the citizens. Then propagate. What propagate means is that I can communicate to the people who are not from my society or not from my religion. I can say that these are the advantages of my religion and you come and join me. So this is also given in under Article 25 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 25 to 28, it gives certain religious rights to all the citizens to practice that. Then after that, if you will come to, these are educational and cultural rights. We have discussed it, right against exploitation 23 and 24, that the child cannot be involved in hazardous activities. You will see that the examples of hazardous activities, their childhood can be hampered by it. Then after that, right to religious freedom. India is a what? India का जो state है, that is secular in nature. So nobody can interfere with your religious practice. If you are practicing your religion, nobody can interfere in that. This is what Indian Constitution gives rights to all the citizens. Then after that, I would like to discuss the cultural and educational rights which are given in Article 29 and 30. So Article 29 and 30, these are the articles which are given to certain minorities. Now, minority is a term which is nowhere defined in Indian Constitution, if you will see. So Article 29 says that any citizen or any section of citizen residing in India or any part of India having distinct language, script and culture shall have rights to conserve the same. अब मैं इसको थोड़ा सा हिंदी में समझा देता हूँ. ये आपकी हो गई लीगल लैंग्वेज कि अगर कोई भी इंडिया का सिटीजन है, वो क्या है, वो किसी इंडिया, अगर वो इंडिया में रहता है, पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में रहता है, और उसका जो लैंग्वेज है, उसका जो स्क्रिप्ट है, उसका जो कल्चर है, वो डिफरेंट है. अगर आप देखोगे सर्टेन ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज हैव सर्टेन डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ राइट्स. उनकी कुछ रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिस होती है जो बहुत अलग तरह की है, वो आपको इलीगल लग सकती है, लेकिन बट दे आर प्रैक्टिसिंग इट फ्रॉम अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. तो वो उनके लिए क्या है, वो उनकी रिलीजियस फ्रीडम का पार्ट है. आर्टिकल 29 क्या कहता है कि अगर कोई एक कम्युनिटी है, उसके पास सर्टेन राइट्स हैं, उनकी सर्टेन ट्रेडिशंस हैं, सो दे हैव राइट टू preserve the same. So Article 29 says that citizen of India or any section of citizen of India having different language, script and culture shall have rights to conserve the same. कि अगर आपका कल्चर डिफरेंट है, अगर आपकी स्क्रिप्ट डिफरेंट है, अगर आपकी लैंग्वेज डिफरेंट है, तो आपके पास ये राइट है कि आप उसको कंजर्व करो. आर्टिकल 30 इनको पावर देता है कि वो अपने एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स को इस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं. माइनॉरिटीज की बात करता है. माइनॉरिटी इंडिया में दो तरह की होती है. एक होती है लिंग्विस्टिक माइनॉरिटी दैट आर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लैंग्वेज, एंड सेकेंड वन आर रिलीजियस माइनॉरिटी दैट आर बेस्ड ऑन द रिलीजन. तो ये सारी चीजें आपको आती हैं आर्टिकल 29 एंड 30 में. उसके बाद आर्टिकल 31 दैट इज बीइंग एबॉलिश्ड. ये राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी हुआ करता था. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस इट एनी मोर. नाउ आई एम कमिंग टू आर्टिकल 32. Now this is very important. This is even more important than the Article 21, which I already discussed. Now, what Article 32 says? Article 32 is right to constitutional remedies. When I started discussing fundamental right, I said that the fundamental rights are what? They are guaranteed rights. Whenever you heard the term guarantee, guarantee means what? Guarantee means there should be a guarantor. Who is the guarantor? अगर आपके पास कुछ फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं और कोई एक बॉडी है जो आपको उसकी गारंटी देती है कि आपके पास फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं, अगर ये वायलेट होंगे तो आपको प्रोटेक्ट किया जाएगा, वो प्रोसीजर क्या है, कैसे प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे, तो वो आपको आर्टिकल 32 में दिया जाता है, जिसको हम बोलते हैं राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज। और इसको लीगल लैंग्वेज में या लेमन लैंग्वेज में हम इसको क्या बोलते हैं? इट इज द हार्ट एंड सोल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। ये केवल डिजाइन नहीं बनाया गया है, ये आपको याद करने के लिए इजी हो जाए इसलिए ये बनाया गया है। आर्टिकल 32 को हम बोलते हैं हार्ट एंड सोल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। क्यों बोलते हैं? क्योंकि अगर आपका फंडामेंटल राइट का वायलेशन होता है, हम बोलते हैं फंडामेंटल राइट्स आर गारंटीड राइट्स, तो अगर उस गारंटी का वायलेशन होता है तो आप किसको अप्रोच कर सकते हो? आप डायरेक्टली सुप्रीम कोर्ट को अप्रोच कर सकते हो अंडर आर्टिकल 32 और हाई कोर्ट को अप्रोच कर सकते हो अंडर आर्टिकल 226। तो ये हो जाता है राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज, जिसमें आपकी 5 तरह की रिट्स होती हैं। अगर टीबीएस कॉपस होती है, मैंडमस होती है, सर्सियोरॉडी होती है, प्रोहिबिशन होती है, क्यू वारंटो होती है, तो अलग अलग चीजों के लिए होती है। अगर मान लो आपको पुलिस ने इलीगली डिटेन कर लिया विदाउट फॉलोइंग द आर्टिकल 22, जो बात करता है आपको लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेशन देना चाहिए, जो बात करता है आपको 24 आवर्स में मजिस्ट्रेट के सामने प्रोड्यूस करना चाहिए, जो बात करता है आपको अरेस्ट का ग्राउंड बताना चाहिए, अगर कुछ भी ऐसा लॉ वायलेट होता है, आप डायरेक्टली सुप्रीम कोर्ट को अप्रोच कर सकते हो, रिट इशू करा सकते हो हीबियस कॉर्पस की, which is the meaning of that is have the body. Have the body means the person who is detained in the court, you need to produce that person before the court, and court will decide either that arrest is legal or illegal. And if the arrest is illegal, then that person will be absolved of all this. Like that person will be acquitted from the proceeding. So this is what Article 32 talks about. The first is habeas corpus. Second one is mandamus, that we command. Suppose you go to bank and you say something that, sir, I want to open an account in your bank, and that bank comes under the definition of state. That government, like the bank should be a government bank, and you are going to bank and there is an officer who is not obeying the duty which is duty bound to obey. अगर कोई पर्सन है वो आपके काम को नहीं करता है और वो ऑथराइज है उस काम को करने के लिए, सपोज आप पुलिस स्टेशन जाते हो, आप ऑफिसर को बोलते हो कि आप मेरी एफआईआर को रजिस्टर करो, और वो पुलिस ऑफिसर क्या करता है? रिफ्यूज कर देता है। आपके पास क्या राइट्स है? आप कैसे आगे प्रोसीडिंग करोगे? तो उसके लिए आती है रिट ऑफ मैंडमस। मैंडमस क्या होता है? वी कमांड। अगर कोई पर्सन है वो कोई काम करने के लिए ड्यूटी बाउंड है, ऑथराइज है, और वो अपनी ड्यूटी का क्या करता है? वायलेशन करता है, तो रिट ऑफ मैंडमस आप इशू करा सकते हो। तो जो कोर्ट होगी, हाई कोर्ट होगी और सुप्रीम कोर्ट होगी, वो कमांड करेगी कि रजिस्टर द एफआईआर, open the bank account. This is what Article 32, the second writ talks about, mandamus. Then certiorari and prohibition, these are related to court proceedings, which are I am not going to discuss. Then after that, quo warranto. Quo warranto is what? What is your authority? If somebody is sitting on the post, suppose I am a speaker here. So what authority I am being here? So my authority is that I am having a law degree. I am teaching to law students since a very long time. I have worked with a law firm. So this is what? This is the authority on which I am working on. Suppose if I am an illiterate person, you won't be here to listen me. So this is what the meaning of it is, that if the person sitting on the table is authorized to perform the duty or not. So in case somebody who is incompetent to perform the duty and he is sitting on the table, you can issue a writ of quo warranto against that person. So this was about the Indian Constitution, the fundamental rights. I hope that okay. So till now we have discussed what are your fundamental rights. Now you all of you have heard about the internal emergency that happened in 1975 to 1977. I hope you all of us have heard, because the today government keep on criticizing the government of Congress that they imposed national emergency on the ground of internal disturbance. So first of all, मैं पहले आपको लेमन लैंग्वेज में समझा देता हूँ, अदरवाइज यू विल फाइंड डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, और फिर आपका क्या होगा, आपकी कंसिस्टेंसी ब्रेक हो जाएगी। तो 1975 में क्या किया गया था? इंदिरा गांधी गवर्नमेंट का जो टेन्योर था वो खत्म होने वाला था, और जो हाई कोर्ट थी इलाहाबाद की, उन्होंने क्या किया था? उनको इनकम्पिटेंट बता दिया था कि वो 6 इयर्स के लिए इलेक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर सकते। तो उस चीज को, तो उसको खत्म करने के लिए इंदिरा गांधी गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया? अपने पोस्ट को बचाने के लिए उन्होंने क्या किया? नेशनल इमरजेंसी इंपोज कर दी ऑन द ग्राउंड ऑफ इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस। तो उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ? जितने भी फंडामेंटल राइट्स थे उनको सस्पेंड कर दिया गया। उस टाइम के लिए 1975 से 1977 के बीच में जितने भी फंडामेंटल राइट्स दिए गए थे सिटीजन्स को, उनको सस्पेंड कर दिया गया। फिर पूरे इंडिया में प्रोटेस्ट होने लग गया, सभी जितनी भी सोसाइटीज के लोग थे वो निकल करके आने लगे गवर्नमेंट के अगेंस्ट। तो 2 साल बाद क्या हुआ, इंदिरा गांधी गवर्नमेंट को क्या करना पड़ा, उनको वो राइट्स वापस देने पड़े, सभी लोगों को जितने भी सिटीजन्स थे वापस देने पड़े। तो उन्होंने एक कमेटी बनाई जिसको हम बोलते हैं सोरेन सिंह कमेटी। उन्होंने कुछ ड्यूटीज दी। नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस व्हाट आर द fundamental duties which are given to you, like which you need to follow. Here you will see that people tend to forget their duties but they remember their rights. लोग क्या करते हैं, लोग अपनी राइट्स को याद रखते हैं लेकिन वो अपनी ड्यूटीज को भूल जाते हैं। दिस इज व्हाट इंदिरा गांधी सेड, people tend to forget their duties but they remember their rights. So Indira Gandhi said that with fundamental rights shall come certain duties. अगर आप being a citizen of India enjoy some fundamental rights, so there are certain duties which you need to obey. अब वो ड्यूटीज क्या हैं उनको हम देख लेते हैं। ये आपके आर्टिकल 51A जो आपका 44th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट था 1978 में, इनको इसका पार्ट बनाया गया था। ये कमेंसमेंट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया के टाइम में इसमें कोई फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज नहीं थी इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में। और ऐसा जैसे हमने हमारा जो इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है ये यूएस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से लेकर के बना है, कुछ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का पार्ट है हमने ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट से लिया है। लेकिन अगर हम देखें जो फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज है ये ऐसी बड़ी कंट्रीज के किसी भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में नहीं दी हुई है। अगर आप और डिटेल में पढ़ने जाओगे आप देखोगे आर्टिकल 32 जो यूगोस्लाविया का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है उसमें कुछ इनके बारे में बात की जाती है, फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज के बारे में बात की जाती है। जापान का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है उसमें इनके बारे में बात किया गया है। लेकिन और किसी भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, अगर यूएस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की अगर आप बात करोगे, अगर आप ब्रिटिश कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की बात करोगे, वो फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज के बारे में बात नहीं करता है। यही रीजन था कि इसको इंक्लूड नहीं किया गया। लेकिन after the emergency when it was invoked in 1975, later it was revoked in 1978, 1977 it was revoked, then after that in 1978 certain fundamental duties were introduced to the Indian constitution. अब इसको हम पढ़ लेते हैं कि क्या फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज हैं जिनको दिया गया था, जिनको इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था 44th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट से। अब देखो सबसे पहली ड्यूटीज में आती है अबाइड बाय द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। जो इंडिया का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है इससे सभी जितने भी सिटीजन्स हैं उनको अबाइड करना है, उसको फॉलो करना है और इसकी रिस्पेक्ट करना है। और क्या करना है, रिस्पेक्ट इट्स आइडियल्स, इंस्टीट्यूशंस एंड द नेशनल फ्लैग एंड द नेशनल एंथम। आपको क्या करना है, आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को रिस्पेक्ट करना है, आपको इसके आइडियल्स को रिस्पेक्ट करना है, जो इंस्टीट्यूशन इसकी पावर से बनते हैं उनको रिस्पेक्ट करना है, नेशनल फ्लैग और नेशनल एंथम को रिस्पेक्ट करना है। ये दी गई है पहली फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी। फिर उसके बाद सेकंड को थोड़ी देर के लिए स्किप कर देते हैं। थर्ड देखते हैं उसमें क्या दे रखा है, अपहोल्ड एंड प्रोटेक्ट द सॉवरेनिटी, यूनिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ द इंडिया। कि आपको क्या करना है, प्रोटेक्ट करना है। सॉवरेनिटी मतलब क्या है, इंडिया एक सॉवरेन स्टेट है। इंडिया के अंदर अगर इंडियन जो गवर्नमेंट है वो कोई भी डिसीजन लेने के लिए इंडिपेंडेंट है, वो किसी इंडिया के बाहर के लोगों को इसमें इंटरफेयर करने की जरूरत नहीं है। यूनिटी क्या है, यूनिटी इज व्हाट, कि हम देयर इज अ डाइवर्सिटी इन यूनिटी, वी ऑल ऑफ अस हैव हर्ड अबाउट इट, कि हमारी कंट्री में क्या है अलग अलग रिलीजन, अलग अलग कास्ट, अलग अलग क्रीड के लोग रहते हैं बट वी आर यूनाइटेड फॉर इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ इंडिया। सो दिस इज व्हाट फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी 3 टेल्स अबाउट। देन I am directly coming to, we have discussed what 1 says, what 3 says, now what 5 says. It says that promote harmony, spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic and regional and sectional diversities, renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. जो भी practices हैं जो dignity of women के against है उनको हम क्या करते हैं, उनको हम renounce करते हैं, उनको हम खत्म करते हैं, उनको हम practice नहीं करेंगे। ये आर्टिकल बोल रहा है 15 फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी है, ये बात करती है। उसके बाद 5 के बाद आ जाते हैं डायरेक्टली 7 पे। इसमें क्या आता है, 5 के बाद 7 पे आता है, प्रोटेक्ट द एंड इम्प्रूव द नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट इंक्लूडिंग फॉरेस्ट, लेक्स, रिवर्स एंड वाइल्ड लाइफ एंड हैव कंपैशन फॉर लिविंग क्रिएचर्स। देन 9 सेफगार्ड टू पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टी एंड एब्जॉर्ब वायलेंस। अब देखो हमने कौन कौन सी फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी हमने पढ़ी। पहली होगी आपको इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को रिस्पेक्ट करना है। दूसरी होगी आपको इंडिया की जो सॉवरेनिटी, यूनिटी, इंटीग्रिटी है उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना है। फिफ्थ हो गई यू कैन नॉट प्रैक्टिस एनीथिंग विच इज अगेंस्ट और डेरोगेटरी टू द डिग्निटी ऑफ वीमेन हो गई। फिर उसके बाद आती है 7th है प्रोटेक्ट एंड इंप्रूव द नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट एंड 9th is safeguard to public property and absorb violence. These are the duties which as an Indian citizen you need to obey. Now come to duty number 2. What is says that? It says cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspire the national struggle for freedom. वो क्या कहते हैं, आप उस चीज को चेरिश करो जो नेशनल स्ट्रगल था फॉर फ्रीडम। फ्रीडम के लिए जो स्ट्रगल हुआ 1857 का रिवोल्ट हुआ, उसके बाद एक लंबी लड़ाई चली, जिसके बाद हमारी कंट्री को क्या मिली, फ्रीडम मिली, और उसके बाद जो हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया वो फोर्स में आया। तो वो जो आइडियल्स हैं, जो नेशनल हीरोज हैं, जिन्होंने इंडियन फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल में पार्टिसिपेट किया है, उस चीज को हमें क्या करना है, चेरिश करना है। फिर दूसरा फोर्थ क्या आता है, डिफेंड द कंट्री एंड रेंडर नेशनल सर्विसेज व्हेन कॉल्ड अपॉन टू डू सो। तो आपको क्या करनी है, नेशनल सर्विसेज रेंडर करनी है व्हेन यू आर बीइंग कॉल्ड अपॉन टू डू सो, जब आपको बुलाया जाता है उनको करने के लिए। ये हो गई फोर्थ फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी। फिर उसके बाद सिक्स आती है, वैल्यू एंड प्रिजर्व द रिच हेरिटेज ऑफ कंट्रीज कंपोजिट कल्चर। ये क्या बात करता है, जो कंट्री की हेरिटेज है, जो कंट्री की आपकी हेरिटेज मतलब होता है कि जो आपका स्ट्रगल है इतने दिन की, जो आपकी हिस्ट्री है, जो आपकी हेरिटेज है, उसको हमें क्या करना है, प्रिजर्व करना है। कोई उसको खराब नहीं कर सकता। हेरिटेज आपने सुना होगा, वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट का स्टेटस दिया जाता है, जिसकी कोई हिस्टोरिकल इंपॉर्टेंस है, उस चीज को खत्म नहीं किया जा सकता। दिस इज व्हाट ड्यूटी नंबर 6 टेल्स अबाउट। अब देखते हैं कि आखिर हमने ये चित्रकारी क्यों है। ओके, सो आई एम गोइंग टू यूज व्हाइट बोर्ड फॉर दैट। So I have done that alternate series. In alternate series, if you will see that duty number 1, what it says, that duty number 2, duty number 3, duty number 4, 5, 6, there are 10 duties which were introduced. So if you will see that duty number 1, what it says, that respect the Indian Constitution. Now, if you don't respect, or you disrespect the Constitution, so these are not duties, just that these are reminders to you. You will be punished for that. If you will see that article, duty number 2, it says that cherish the noble ideas. So अगर आप वो चीज नहीं भी करते हो तो क्या है, उसके लिए कोई कंपल्सन नहीं है। इसीलिए हमने जो रेड कलर से मार्क किया था, वो चीजें क्या आती हैं, वो सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं, 1 मिनट, जो 1, 3, 5, 7, अगर वो ड्यूटीज को आप वायलेट करते हो तो आपको पनिशमेंट मिलती है। अगर आप ड्यूटी नंबर 2 एंड 4 एंड 6 की बात करोगे, ये मेरे रिमाइंडर्स हैं जो आपको गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा या इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के द्वारा दिए गए। सो दिस वाज फ्रॉम माय साइड. If there are any question, I am open to that.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable information in detail.